Hello, and welcome to this, a Pink Floyd primer. Oh, what the hell, we seem to be doing a run of Pink Floyd related material, so we'll get this one out of the way. I know a couple of people have requested it. What's there to say? Oh, I've got a bike. You can ride it if you like. So let's prog on. The first one up from 1967, the debut album, Piper of the Gates of Dawn. Well, it's an essential record, isn't it, really? Because the bird might be gone, but the dog is here, scratching and shaking. Alex, behave. He's got an itch. Anyway, I'll leave it in, just to prove that this is real life. Yeah. What a great start to a video. I could just start it all over again, but we'll continue. Yes, Piper of the Gates of Dawn, it's the first record. It's... wow, what can I say? Indicative of a time. It features the late, great Syd Barrett. His only real tenure with the band. This and one song off of A Sauce Full of Secrets. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to describe. It's fairy tale. It's, playful. It's childish. But genius as well, because there's no other record like it. Never going to be another record like it. I mean, purely, well, for me, for Interstellar Overdrive and Astronomy Domini, I can never say it. You can hear what a great guitar player Barrett was, and of course, Bike is another one of my favourites. But they're all, they're all good tracks. Some of them, work better than others. Some of them, the childish nature of the lyrics, gets to me after a while. But I remember loving it when I was, 14 years old. This was followed in 1968 by A Saucer Full of Secrets. Now, for me, this album is not as satisfying as the previous one. A couple of tracks on there that I like. Corporal Clegg, Jug Band Blues. Problem with it is it veers off into, space rock, with Let There Be More Light and Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun, which is often a favourite of the others. But I've heard it too many times. Familiarity breeds contempt, if you know what I mean. In our household, my missus changed the words to the song title to Set the Controls for the Heart of Locke's Bum. So that's the kind of level of humour we operate at in this household. Now that's gone in, you'll never get it out. That's it. You'll hear that song, that is what you will think. But yeah, I mean, it's a very different band. You can still hear remnants of the Barrett era. And, it's just, Jug Band Blues is just, I find it a very, very sad song. Because, you know the story. 69, soundtrack album time, the film More. Yeah, I mean, it's all right. I mean, it's not one I go back to that often. I think I enjoyed the Nile song. And that's about it, really. Oh, and Cymbeline, of course, which is... Green is the Colour. I forgot, it's been such a long time. Quite like those tracks, very nice vibe to them. Again, very much of the time, a bit noodly in places, but worth checking out. One of the lesser albums, if you know what I mean. This is followed by Amagama, which is a game of two halves, if you're not familiar with it. Part of it is live, the rest of it is composed in the studio. Yeah, so side one and side two are live tracks, obviously. Of course it would be. I don't know, I mean, it's all right. The Floyd live on album never really appeals to me. I don't know why. As a live band, I've never really, thrown my toys into the air and celebrated them. Though I did enjoy hearing them once on the BBC. When they played Embryo. That one. I'm so small. That one. That always gave me a thrill because it was never released formally. I think it was on a compilation once. But I'm wandering off topic again. And then you've got record 2, sides 3 and 4. You've got some proper songs. Grantchester Meadows is nice enough. several species of small furry animals gathered together in a cave, grooving with a pict is just, music concrete. It's and I just lose interest, I must admit. I know some people like it, but I've never really dug it, so it's one that I always skip over. 1970, it's the one with the cow, Moo. Yes, it's Hat My Mother. I did a review of it back in the prog review. I like it. Quite experimental. The band doesn't like it. Yeah, there you go. I think it's worth checking out though, because it's quite dramatic in places, though the B-side is a bit undercooked. 1971, 5th of November apparently. I didn't know that. Is that the British release date? No, 30th October. I wish Wikipedia would get his facts right. But anyway, Medal. Now this is probably one of my favourites. I remember the missus buying me this when we first stepped out together way back in the day. And you really hear the Floyd, the actual sound coming together, proper Floyd sound. If they're more confident on this record, more melody, self-editing, great stuff. One of these days is stock true, isn't it? Dum de dum de dum de dum de dum de dum de dum. Pillow of Winds is lovely, fearless. And You'll Never Walk Alone. Saint-Tropez, Seamus with the dog, and of course Echoes, which is the grand artistic statement. Bing! Well worth a listen. 1972, Obscured by Clouds. It's another soundtrack album for the film La Vallée, I believe. Yeah, I mean, it's another one of those ones where I just kind of, there's some interesting bits on it, but it's not so it engages me. I always find their soundtrack albums a little bit dull, and so I, a lesser one. So come back to that when you've run out of other things to listen to. Now, 1973. What's there to be said about Dark Side of the Moon? Huh? It's one of the most successful albums ever recorded and released. It's all been said before. There's been box sets, numerous box sets. Most of them you can see me opening on this channel. I remember buying it as a lad. I got my first hi-fi, and what did I buy? Dark Side of the Moon. I'd heard it previously because my friend played it to me, but he said to me, you must buy it when you get a new hi-fi. So I got my first record deck and my first little 15 watt, I think it was, and placed it on and put the posters on the wall, looked at the stickers. I think I stuck the stickers on my exercise books, and and I wore it out. I think I've had a couple of copies of the vinyl, and of course CD. There's been numerous releases, so SACD version's the best, of course, with the surroundy soundy, though you can get the Blu-ray version on the new box set. You can see it all me opening and my views in the prog review strand. It's an essential listen, isn't it, really? Probably the first one. You could probably just get this one to start with. And then, in 1975, I'll give it 5, Wish You Were Here. Now, a lot of people, they love this record. I'm not so keen on it. I just find it very... people are going to want to kick me in the nuts when I say I find the whole Shine On You Crazy Diamond stuff a bit disingenuous. Because I do feel that in some respects that, Roger Waters has made a lot of his career and creative impetus has been from the demise, the fading star of Syd Barrett. And I think he, kind of profited on the whole illusion that sprung up around Barrett and the mystique. And I think Waters rubbed his hands together and said, hey, this is a rich vein to work from. And so I can't stand Shine On You Crazy Diamond. Only when I'm drunk. If it's a sing-along, I can't stand it. But I do like Have a Cigar, because of Roy Harper, of course, and the title track. But the rest of the album, I've heard it too many times, and I'm sick of Waters glorifying Barrett when he could have done more to help the guy. enough of that. This is followed by Animals. Oh, Animals. One of my favourites. Again, I bought this when I was a kid. I loved it. I loved the artwork, and I played it to death, and I loved the label on the inside. Oh, just a great record. And it's I mean, I kind of see it as their punk album. I know a lot of people are going, how so? Just because it's the lyrics real have a snarl to them. The whole Dogs piece, you know, all 17 minutes of it, just spoke to me as a teenager. It's full of angsty, you know, wank. You know, as a 40-year-old, I look back and go, what was I thinking? But, you know, I used to love it when I was younger, and I used to love trying to play guitar along to it. I used to be able to, you know, pick my way through some of the lead lines. So it's good if you're a guitarist. Pig's Three Different Ones is all right, you know. Shooting Fish in a Barrel, that should have been one of the songs. Sheep, got a lot of time for. I just love the synth work on that, and the big crescendo piece, and it's bookended by Pigs on the Wing, which, you know, two little songs, and I really like it. I mean, again, it was one of those ones I really did enjoy at the time, so well worth checking out, in my opinion. And this is followed by another big one, The Wall. There's a lovely big box set of it. That's what you should go and buy. I must recommend it. It's probably the most satisfying of the recent immersion sets. I'd forgotten just how much I love this album. Again, I've been listening to it recently again, and I'll tell you what I've been doing. I've been doing the last day or so. The Earls Court footage of the band is up on YouTube. You know, people have posted an illicit copy of the band doing their thing back in the day, back in 1980, and I thought, do you know what? Wouldn't it be fun if I edited the audio to "Is There Anybody Out There" to that footage? And that's what I've been doing. So I made a lovely montage of the lovely pristine stereo soundtrack with the video. Shame no one's going to see it, because if I put it on YouTube, they're going to kick me in the nuts real hard. So there you go. But that's what I've been doing, and listening to it, I just really love the record. You know, it's just an album. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's depressing." I don't. I find it a work of humanity. It's it's filled with humanity, and it's very a very male album, again, my understanding of it has changed over the years. You know, from being a teenager, yeah, it's about angst and isolation, but there's also something else, other parts of the male psyche that are presented in record form. And, you know, Roger Waters does a really good job with the imagery, and, you know, some of the self-pity in it I don't like, because, you know, the central character has only himself to blame, really, by building this wall. But, you know, I do like it. And Comfortably Numb, I might even have that played at my funeral. What do you reckon? Could work, but I'd want the whole thing played. And, you know. But I do like that record. It's essential again, essential. And this is followed by The Final Cut. I sometimes think that there's a letter missing in that title, an N. You do the math. But yeah, the Final Cut, everybody goes, oh, it's great. It's a Pink Floyd album in all, you know, just in name, because really it's Roger Waters' solo piece. I'd like it more if it was called Roger Waters Presents The Final Cut, because it's just, you know, trades description as act, you know, considering who played and who didn't play on it. Of it, I like Not Now John and the last track, you know, Two Suns in the Sunset, because I can play it on guitar. It's only 3 chords. Yeah, Two Suns in the Sunset. Yeah, good one. But yeah, I'm going to do a full review of this one day, just to vent my spleen. So I'm not going to I'm going to keep me powder dry, if you know what I mean. So there you go. It's one of the lesser records. I know some people will be throwing their mice at the screen. Do you still use mice? I don't care. And this was followed, there was a long gap, 1987, by A Momentary Lapse of Reason. A lot of people don't like it. They say, oh, it's not Pink Floyd because there's no Roger Waters. It's a David Gilmour album. And I say, so what? You weren't there, man. You weren't there. I just remember reading about all the legal problems. Being a fan, again, this kind of happened when I was a teenager. I'd have been about 16 when this was released, so I remember the band breaking up, all the legal issues, them arguing in court, and then this coming out. So this was like a moment of joy, because it's like, hey, you know, why should Roger Waters have control of the name? So I mean, I've got a lot of fond memories of it. Okay, musically, it's a bit iffy, but I like Learning to Fly and One Step, co-written by Phil Manzanera from Roxy Music. So that's all pretty cool. And I remember at the time sending my mum out to Woolworths on the day of its release, because I had to go to school, obviously. I was still at school at that point. And I said, can you get me the cassette? I wanted the cassette. I didn't want the LP. I don't know why. And she blooming well bought me the LP, didn't she? It was all right, because I played it was not a problem, but I just wanted the cassette version, because I had a Walkman, that was it, and I wanted to walk around with it. I could only listen to it on my record player. I was into walking around with my Walkman on. Boy, I must have looked a cool son OB in those days with my Walkman and my digital watch, which had languages on. That was technology at the time. They all have iPods and 500 albums. I had a Walkman with cassettes and a fancy digital watch. Times change. You tell kids today, yeah, what do they know? I'm rambling on again. And this was followed in 1994 by the final Pink Floyd album, Division Bell. Again, I had good memories of it, you know, a bit weak in places now. I like Take It Back. High Hopes, of course. But some of it I found a little bit dull. Again, it suffers from that problem that a lot of 90s albums had of, we're going to fit as much on as we can. 66 minutes. 60, that's like an hour and 6 minutes. I think it is an hour and 6 minutes. But, you know, if there's a good 45-minute album in there, a good 45 minutes album, you don't need a lot of the tracks. Some of them could have been, you know, hiked off and you'd had a much more compact, interesting record. The interesting thing I liked was the original release of it had Braille on the CD thing, on the inlay, so you could actually read that it was Pink Floyd Division Bell if you were blind. Don't know what they did for the deaf, but the blind were well covered. You think about the joke. And that kind of brings us up to date with the studio albums. Trying to think what else there needs to be covered. You've got compilations. You'd probably want to dig out Relics, which has a lot of their old early singles on, which is quite nice. Trying to think. Delicate Sound of Thunder, that was a live one, which was, I remember being a bit sterile. I had it on cassette. I haven't listened to it in years because I don't think I've got it digitally, but I wasn't that impressed with it. And a collection of great dance songs was the compilation in the 80s. Had a dance, was it 12-inch mix of Money on it? I don't know. And there's been numerous compilations since then. God, wasn't there? There was one not that long ago. But yeah, I think I've done it all now. Have we done it all? Have you forgotten anything else? DVDs, videos. Of course, you should see The Wall, the movie with Sir Bob of Geldof in it. I mean, that's Alan Parker's least celebrated movie. I just love that film. Where's the Blu-ray, man? Where's the Blu-ray? Of course, Live at Pompeii. Oh man, you got to check that out. But I didn't like the director's cut. He fucked around with it far too much. Pulse is quite good fun. And I think that's about it on the DVD front, unless you get the David Gilmour live thing. But I've got a story about that for another time. But yeah, so I better do a little summation of what I've been talking about. So essential records are Piper at the Gates of Dawn, Medal, Dark Side of the Moon, The Wall. That's it really. Ones you want to supplement your collection with: Out of Mark Mother, Animals, and maybe a later period, get Momentary Lapse of Reason if you're feeling a bit cheeky. So that's it. That's been my primer on Pink Floyd. Hopefully, you probably will disagree with it. You probably go, well, I wish you were here, or I'm a gamma. But it's just my opinion. Feel free to disagree in the comment box below. It's okay. We're all allowed to have opinions, but let's be polite and good-natured in our commentary, rather than some of the rude people that exist on the old YouTube. Don't forget, there's lots of Pink Floyd related videos in the old listy thing. That's me being technical again. It's very late. I should go to bed earlier. And that's it. Yeah, I think I'm done. I've got no more to say really. My name's been Darren Locke. I've been burbling on about Pink Floyd, and thank you for having the patience to get through this epic marathon. Yes. Only one more thing to say.